there, YouTube. I'm back again today for another game review. And today I'm very excited checking out Phase 10 Dice from Fun Decks Games. This is for one or more players, ages 8 to adult, and it'll take you, I don't know, about 15 to 30 minutes to play. And in Phase 10 Dice, they tried to take the immensely popular mass market game Phase 10 and turn it into a dice game. We're going to be rolling 10 dice, trying to get sets, runs, series of colors, before your team or before your opponents are able to successfully to do it. Phase 10 is actually a game that I surprisingly enjoy, a mass market game that I really do enjoy, but does Phase 10 Dice capture the magic in a dice game? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what should I get inside of Phase 10 Dice. So first and foremost, we have a handy-dandy rule sheet. It's one small page, pretty much, double-sided, no pictures or illustrations, but it's very well done. It should have you up and running in no time at all. It's also a really simple game, so I can teach you how to play right now. So in Phase 10 Dice, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be rolling these 10 dice on your turn and trying to complete an objective, aka a phase. And if you're the first person to complete all of your phases, then that will trigger the end of the game, at which point everyone else will have an opportunity to try to complete their phases. Whoever has the highest score at the end of that will be the winner of the game. What am I talking about? Let's go over the components. Let's get into the gameplay. So first, we got our scoring pad right here, which is just going to run you down the 10 different phases. Most of the time, it's pretty self-explanatory. So 2 sets of 3. So 3 of a kind and 3 of a kind, the first phase. Then 1 set of 3 and 1 run of 4. So like 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8, 9, anything like that. 1 set of 4, 1 run of 4, 1 run of 7, 1 run of 8, 1 run of 9, which means you'll need 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And as you go down, they will get progressively more difficult. So, that sounds really difficult, but there's going to be the dice. And the dice are going to make it somewhat simple, for the most part, because there are going to be wild dice, which will have wilds as one of their sides. Those are the lower dice, though, but let's go ahead and show you the dice. So these are the dice. They're very nice dice. They're ingrained, so you can see I'm sticking my fingernail down in there. And you're going to have low dice, which will have 1, 2, 3, 4 wild on them. And then you're going to have the high dice, which will have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on them. And the wilds are going to be your best friends. So let's just run you through exactly how the game works. Also, there are colors on these dice because as you get towards the bottom, you're going to need 7 of all one color. So the first time, I need 2 sets of 3. So I roll the dice up, and then I can keep whatever I would like to keep. And you're going to get 3 rolls in order to accomplish your goals. And also, the face value of the dice is how many points you're going to get if you complete the phase. Now, a wild is going to get you 0 points, but it's obviously nice to have a wild. So I'm looking at this hand, and this hand is really terrible. So because I could keep these 1s, and I could keep these 5s, and I could keep this wild, which would mean all I needed was 1 more 1, 1 more 5, or 1 more wild. But here's the catch. This is only going to score me right now 12 points when I successfully complete this phase, which is not very good. Now, why do the points matter? Well, because at the end of the game, obviously, whoever has the most points wins the game. But there is a point in the middle where if you, when you get to this phase, have at least 220 points, you're going to score an additional bonus 40 points. And that's a lot of points that you want to score. So, you know what? I'm probably going to get rid of these ones. I'll keep the 2. You know what? I might just scrap all this. I might just scrap all this, and let's roll it again, and hopefully I will get much luckier. And this time I did. So right there, I've got 3 8s. I've got 3... So that's what I'm going to keep right there. I currently have 8, 16, 24, 34 points, which was much better than what I had last time. And I have another roll. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this again to see if I can get another 10. And I did not get another 10. But this time I would be much happier with my score because I scored 34 points. So I would write 34 right here, and then it would go on to player number 2, who would try to do the same thing, player number 3, who would try to do the same thing, and player number 4, who would try to do the same thing. Then when it gets back to me, my new objective is 1 set of 3 and 1 run of 4. But let's pretend that player 2 did not accomplish 2 sets of 3. When it gets back to their turn, they still are stuck at 2 sets of 3. So someone might be all the way down here at 2 sets of 4, while someone else might still be up here at 1 run of 8. And that's just how the ebb and flow of the game works. Anywho, when you finally finish that final phase, which is 1 set of 5 and 1 set of 3, so 5 of a kind and 3 of a kind, you are going to, if you're the first person, you get, boom, a bonus of 40 points, and then everyone else is going to have one opportunity to try to finish that phase. If they're able to do that, if they're able to do that, then they're still in the running to win the game. But whoever has the highest points at the end of the game will be the winner of Phase 10 Dice, and that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alrighty then, Phase 10 Dice from Fundex Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. It says one or more players, but in my experience, you're probably not going to want to go over 4 players. And there's 4 spots for you to write down names on the notepad that's included, and I feel like that's the sweet spot, because anything more and you're going to just have too much time in between turns. You're going to have that downtime in between turns, which if you're playing with some people is not going to be that big of a problem, because this could definitely be kind of a social game where you're just sitting there rolling dice, chit-chatting. But if you're playing with people who actually are focused more on the game, the downtime will become an issue if you're playing with 5 or more players, I do believe. Another comment of this game, obviously, is it is purely a luck-driven game. If you roll poorly and someone else rolls very well, they will crush you, and there's nothing that you're going to be able to do about it. It's just that simple. Another comment of the game, it has notepads, which obviously is finite, so if you run out of those, you're going to have to use a pen and a paper or print more off or do something like that. But it does come with quite a lot of them, so I don't feel like that's going to be an issue for most people, but it is something that I did want to mention. You know, this is still Phase 10, but just compressed into a dice game. It does capture the spirit of Phase 10, so if you don't like Phase 10, this one might not be for you. But that being said, I feel like this might be one you still want to give a shot, because it does trim a lot of time and a lot of the fat off Phase 10. Any other cons I have with the game? No, moving on to the pros, I was very pleasantly surprised by Phase 10 Dice. I will be keeping this, and I really did dig this game. Now, take that for what you will, because I enjoy the original Phase 10. But what does this game do better than Phase 10? First, this is a lot faster game. It's snappier. You're going to roll dice, roll the dice, roll the dice, boom, it's next player's turn. Roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice, next player's turn. Roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice, next player's turn. It's a quick and snappy game, which I do like. Phase 10 could drag on and outstay its welcome. This game, especially if you're playing with 4 players or less, does not do that. Another pro that I like about this game is that the scoring actually matters. In the original Phase 10, the scoring didn't matter that much, because inevitably, most of the time, people were not going to complete their phases all the time. So it's generally, at least in my experience, most of the time in a Phase 10 game, someone just won the game. Someone just flat out won the game, and they've completed Phase 10, and someone else was only in Phase 9. And I do like that aspect of the game, that this one, the scoring matters. And the scoring, it's like, oh man, I really need these 10s instead of these 6s that I got here, because that's going to put me down points. And you really are going to be focused on the scoring of the game, and keeping track of the score is very simple with a score pad included. So I do like the scoring in the game an awful lot. I also like the wilds in there as well. Another pro that I had with this game was the components itself. While the box is not the nicest box, the dice are very nice. The notepad is easy to use, very functional, so I like that an awful lot as well. There's also a solo version of the game. It's one of those solo versions of the game where it's just optimize your high score, which is not generally a solo type of game that I enjoy, but this one I actually did kind of enjoy it. It's a great way to learn the game. It goes by very quickly, and so I actually did kind of enjoy the solo version of the game. Oddly enough, even though I am normally one who bags on games that just have, hey, get your highest score. But I actually kind of did like it in this game. But if you don't like games that are just optimize your high score, this one might not be for you as well. And in the end, Phase 10 Dice was a game I did enjoy. Oh, my last aspect that I really liked about this game was the fact that you have like this sudden death overtime type of thing. So let's just say that someone completes their Phase 10. Everyone else gets one more turn where they can try and roll. So let's just say you're stuck on Phase 6 and someone completes Phase 10. You're going to get one turn to try to complete Phase 6. And if you do that, you'll get one turn to try and complete Phase 7. And then you'll get one turn to try to complete Phase 8. If you fail at Phase 8, you're done. But I really do like that sudden death aspect where it's like, all right, he just completed Phase 10, but he's getting super low numbers. So I'm going to have one shot to run the table to get Phase 6, Phase 7, Phase 8, Phase 9, Phase 10, and potentially steal the win. Now, I've yet to see anybody do it. but I'm going to bring this in my classroom. I'm feeling it's going to get played quite frequently because the kids really did enjoy this game. And in the end, Phase 10 Dice, it is a game I can recommend if you can find it. I do believe it's out of print, not quite sure on that, but for mass market games, this might be one of my new favorite light, simple mass market games. I like it better than the card game, which is a game I enjoy as well. And this is definitely one you're going to keep your eyes out for if you're looking for family or gateway gamers or kids. I think it's a great family game. So that is Phase 10 Dice, one that I was very pleasantly surprised with. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. What is your favorite dice game based on a regular game? Oh, that's a really hard one. For me personally, while I have not played the card/board game version of it, I really liked Nations, the dice game. That is a dice game that I really want to get. Yeah, so I'm going to go with that one. Nations, the dice game, is one that I absolutely adored. I want to eventually purchase that game. So yes. But let me know in the comments below. What is the dice game version of a regular game that you really do enjoy? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.